You don't have to say yes to everything. And there is a chance, if you say no, they might not want to engage with you, and that's also okay too.
Whoa. Whoa. Excuse you. He's smiling and laughing now.
That was a big one.
Encore, Ethan.
Like father, like son. Good Bad Breakthrough. We live. We got ASIN. Yay! ASIN. Yay for ASIN. You go look at Jason and say, yay, ASIN.
He sees Keena's nails.
Yes.
My rings? My nails? I gotta get them done.
We also got Dreya in the building.
Hey girl.
Hey.
And Keena.
What's up, Keena? Hey.
Hey, Keena.
Your boy, Drew.
Say hi, Keena.
We live. I'm so excited. I'm so grateful to be here with y'all. We've had an enduring, is that how you would say it? From an English standpoint, we've all had a week. I think, to say the least. It has been a week. Every day has ended in Y, and we are okay.
Every day did end in Y.
Yeah. We're gonna transition. We're not gonna talk about breathing exercises today, but I do have something that I want to share with you too, and our audience. Last podcast, love the title, by the way. I really resonated with the title.
You said it.
Space Days.
You said everything that was in the title, you said during the show.
You're a beautiful person.
You said that somebody said you are at your best when you are, like showing up with your, mental health and stuff like that. And then you also said Space days. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So maybe that's why I resonate with it. I'm like, ooh, I love this so much. Like, I really connect and resonate with this. Like, man, Keena is snapping. She in my brain, G. It was like 80 Drew's like, Keena. But I kind of I do want to play off the space. I had a moment with a dear friend of mine, and a dear partner of mine. And we do a lot together, like everything I do, they do, everything they do, I do. We just boom at the hip. And, as of late, we've been having these ups and downs, but in the past, it used to be, I would respond every couple of days because, I'm, organizing my projects and my people and figuring out where I got to spend my time. And then as I spend more time with this person, we started doing different things together, and they leveled up. Mm-hmm. I leveled up, they leveled up. Mm-hmm. Okay, so then I started being more available to this person. Mm-hmm. And I don't want to say that backfired on me, but in becoming more available to this person and then having to pull myself back again, mm-hmm. because then my schedule got busy and family and transition and mm-hmm. A lot that occurred, it then started getting a little toxic again. Mm-hmm. And I had to lead with love. You know what I mean? And at first we were having this conversation, and it was just, they were very frustrated with me. Like, hey, like I'm pretty much demanding that you call me or you text me or you respond to me, and I don't know what's going on, and you're not hitting me back. Mm-hmm. I was bedridden for 2 days, with a bug. I don't know what it was. COVID negative. I got my COVID test, but I had 103 text messages, 45 missed phone calls. And I'm having this conversation with them yesterday. And it was interesting because when I think about space and, prioritizing like just life in general, this person had mentioned that, when you talk about dumping and venting, that's a trigger for me because like you're one of my best friends. I feel like I should be able to tell you about my problems, mm-hmm. and you should be able to listen to that. Mm-hmm. And this person also asked me not to be clinical. They're like, hey, I'm like, because I'm listening. And I'm like, do you want me to support? Do you want me to listen?
Right.
Do you want me to give you feedback? Do you want me to help solve the problem? What do you need from me? And they're just like, don't be clinical. Just be my person. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, okay, I'm your person. I was like, you were conditioned that way. Like you were conditioned in your circle of friends or in your reality, whatever your world is, that behavior is okay. Like you want to give me your problems, you want to give me your worries, you want to give me your anxiety. For what? Mm-hmm. How do you want me to feel after you tell me all that? Mm-hmm. Like what is your expectation of me? Mm-hmm. Like, are you thinking about my feelings, my aura, my reality? Because that is like, everyone heard the term misery loves company. That is exactly what that is. You know, like I don't have space for that. I don't want space for that, nor do I give you permission to do that. So when you do that, bye, I love you. But because I love you and you're like a brother to me, you know, I'm going to be able to work through these things with you. It's just not always going to be on your accord. And it was interesting. And I just wanted to share it because it was just a moment to me. It's like, you know, we all come from different backgrounds and we all have, you know, brothers and sisters and cousins and aunts and uncles and moms and dads that, you know, we've been taught that. And just because we've done it for so long, it doesn't make it okay. It doesn't make it, you know, something that we are obligated to accept in our lifestyle. And it was just interesting, you know, how to lead with love with that.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know if y'all have any stories I want to share with that, or even like your views, you know, because I think, you know, not to drift too far, but I've heard this before. Like, you know, people say like, oh, like, I think you were just talking about this when like, you know, when you're building and developing your character and it's like, oh, I don't have time for drama. If you're about drama, like I don't have space for you anymore because I'm on the bigger and better things or I'm on the different things. And it's like for the friends that you love, it's like, no, you can work through those things, but you just have to assert yourself and set your boundaries and your expectations and saying like, hey, there's a healthy way to do what we're doing. And then there's an unhealthy way to do what we're doing. And if we're going to kick it and we're going to rock side by side, I just want to be healthy. You know, I want to be mindful.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Could it be that I heard you say that he was conditioned that way, conditioned to, did you mean like his entitlement of like having access to you or having the ability to dump on you or what?
Yeah, in that moment, it was the entitlement of saying, I'm your friend, I have problems. It's a privilege for you to know my problems, so you're now obligated to listen to my problems because you're my friend.
I understand. I sort of kind of understand where he's coming from because just think about like the friendships that we've had years before. We've never been in a place where we could truly be honest and open and say, you know what, I'm not in a space to receive what you're about to deliver to me or whatever you're about to share to me. Like we've never been in a space to do that. And so what we've done in the past is just sat on the phone or sat in rooms or sat in spaces and just let that happen because we didn't necessarily understand how to set those boundaries for other people, you know? And so it might be something that we've just always been accustomed to. We've always been accustomed to like receiving that, whatever they had to talk about. And maybe that's what he's used to. That's what the type of friendship he's used to having. Is just always being able to share all the things he's going through. But I've also had friends like that, which is why we parted ways, where they always wanted to like dump, and I'd be like, oh, that's too much for me to take in. You know me, I take in all of the energy, and I can't necessarily separate the two. I can't separate whether it's my energy and my emotions that I'm feeling or if it's theirs. And so I take it all in. And then I spend the whole week trying to figure out if it's something wrong with me, if I did something, if, you know, something's happening with people around me. It was overwhelming, and it made it difficult for me to process through my own feelings and my own emotions.
I know you mean. Can I just say real quick, your eyebrows look so good. I'm like, this girl is so beautiful. Okay. So,
thank you.
You're welcome. What I will say is I think it's I love that you brought it up. And I literally wrote a show for my Rougie Ruminations podcast on this topic. In a way, like it was the episode that I wrote is called Holding Space, and I haven't recorded it yet. But what I'll do, I'll tell you some of the things that I wrote on there because some of what you're talking about brings me to that idea of what you said. I always appreciate when people ask me questions like, well, do you want me to give you, you know, my thoughts? Do you want me to give you my advice? Do you want me to give you some feedback? Do you want me to this and that? Like, and you said you had asked that to your friend also in that moment, right? Whether you're going to open up that space for that. And then there's the element of what like active listening looks like. And so a couple things that I'm hearing here is this a pattern consistent? Like, is this like every time you hang out with this person, you can expect that this is going to be a part of the dialogue that you guys have?
Andrea has identified this relationship as borderline toxic.
Okay. And you said it went back to toxic too. So, so that's one thing, right? Like, okay, that might be worth addressing, right? And then the other thing is when you said like, you know, and when you said like about separating yourself from the energy, not taking that on, I don't want to take that on and stuff like that. Like, it's very real, right? And so then that also comes like, and this is something like, I don't remember if I shared this on the podcast, but last summer, I had realized that I had a hard time separating myself and that I was taking on everybody's everything and it was wearing me down. I was feeling dragged down. And so I was like, oh my God, like I want to have all the compassion and all the love and all the care for everything and everybody in the world. And I also cannot sustain in this way because I am going to be crying every day. I'm going to be sad every day when my life is peaceful. It's compassion fatigue. Yes.
Compassion
my life
fatigue.
is peaceful than a mug, but it's like, and I don't want to like not be there if I'm equipped to be able to be there for people. Mm-hmm. And also I got to have my own, like, I got to protect my energy, right? Like I cannot let it get sucked. So here's the thing. If you are doing like an active listening, and we might've talked about this on the show, active listening is like when you listen to somebody and then all you're doing, you're not listening to change anything. You're not listening to problem solve for them. You're not listening to offer anything. You're only listening to listen. And then maybe you reflect back what you heard. Okay, so am I right to understand that you got this going on and that going on? Because yes, some people need to get it out before they can get their brain to a state of, okay, now I'm ready to problem solve. So then if that's what they need, like, you might tell them like, hey, I need you to ask me if I have space to hold for you before you start doing this thing. I want to be there for you. I just need you to ask me if I'm here to hold space. I think because part of the confusion or part of the energy being leached is you were not ready or prepared for that. And so then it's like while that's happening, you might be like, wait, am I supposed to be listening to think of solutions for you? Am I listening to just like, to tell you it's going to be okay? Am I listening to just listen? Mm. And so then your mind is like, your energy, your regulation is kind of like, you know what I mean? And so then it's like, that's where the boundary, okay, wait, before, like, I need you to do this for me because I want to be there for you. You're so special to me. And I just need to be prepared. So you might just tell them that like before, like the next time that y'all hang out, like, hey, you know, I noticed when we hang out, like sometimes I be feeling like so drained out at the end of the talk and it wasn't even my stuff, you know? So look, next time we talk, let's try this. If you got something that you want to talk about or get off of your chest, tell me in advance, like, hey, I want to get this off my chest so then I can clarify what my role is here so that I can show up the way I need to, so I know what kind of space to hold for you. I want to hold the space. I just want to do it right. Mm-hmm. And so then hopefully they will respect that, right? Because you have set a boundary. Mm-hmm. You have to assert that for yourself. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Set that, okay, hey, what's my role here? Okay. And 9 times out of 10, like when it comes to holding space, your role is really only to just listen and reflect back because they really have all the answers within themselves. You probably don't need to solve for them. Mm-hmm. And then hopefully at that point, you have given the responsibility to them to figure it out. So now you don't feel so drained. It's like, dang, that's some intense stuff that you got going on. Yeah. That you got going on. Okay? When people hear things reflected back that way, then usually they hear it, what they said to you, they hear it differently. That triggers something different in their mind where they can then do the problem solving. Okay? And I tell you guys this from the perspective of like a person who has practiced and has taught this, and also as a hairdresser, because I do hair, okay? I stand behind the chair, you know, all day. I don't hardly ever tell people like, well, you should do this, unless they're asking, what do you think? Most of the times people just want to they will talk for, you know, a long time, and then they'd be like, I didn't even say nothing. They'd be like, oh my God, that's the answer. Thank you so much. And I'd be like, you're welcome. I didn't do anything.
Yeah. Well, that's like, you know, one of my business partners, who I'm talking about, he can hear 3 paragraphs and recite 3 sentences. Mm-hmm. So that really resonates with what you're saying, is They can talk on and on and on and on and on.
Yeah.
And you could probably spit out 3 or 4 sentences and they're like, you're so right.
Right.
And you'd be like, I'm just reciting what you told me. Yeah.
And even in the cases like when like I've done this like with one of my accountability buddies, which is the word for Breathe for Change, when I was teaching the teacher training, and me and my girl were walking, doing an active listening walk, which we just took 10 minutes. We walk. It's like 13 minutes, right? She talks for 10 minutes. I say nothing. I don't even go, I don't even do that. Just let her talk. And then after that, I have 3 minutes to say, so what I'm hearing is this, this, and this, and this. So it's like whatever. And so this gives them space, like whatever their limiting beliefs are, whatever their insecurities are, their fears, the things that they're so ashamed to say that. Say that-ish.
Yeah.
And then when you get done, I'm going to repeat back to you what I heard you say. And then you're going to be like, you might be like, that's what you heard. And it might be emotional for people to hear their words reflected back. Like, man, like, that is how I've been feeling. And then it's like, I actually don't, that's not actually me, you know, or whatever people are carrying with them, whatever they carry with them. And when you do it in that type of a space, and sometimes even when you be like, okay, we're going to, like, even if right now I said, let's just go for a walk. Like, we don't even plan our episodes. We don't even know what we're going to talk about when we start talking. But we just start vibing. You don't even have to know. People be like, oh, I don't know what we're going to talk about. And then you start talking. Whatever was lingering in the heart or in the mind or somewhere in the shoulders, it just starts to come out when you have the space. That's why the holding space is so important, because it's like, okay, I do need to be held, you know, in this way. If I'm holding space, then it's not about me. Whatever you say, it's not directly anything towards me. Even if it's about me, this is you giving the space, you having the space to say whatever you need, and me not thinking of responses, you know, me not making it about me, me not being like, but you, no, it's not about that. The healthy way of holding space. You know, you got to empty things out so that you can fill it back up with what you want to fill into that cup intentionally.
You're trying to debate on whether you want me or not.
What do you think, Asen?
What do you think?
I really resonate with a lot of the space discussions. You know, in the last 10, 15 years of just developing my character and respecting who I am and my values and my beliefs, like you really understand, and you definitely, we all understand this, that if we don't set up space for ourselves, no one else will. You know, so we're setting up space for ourselves, and then we're also, you know, loving people unconditionally and allowing them into our space. You know, I always tell people, like, you know, if you're a friend of mine or I'm a friend of yours, like I feel like, Keena, it is a privilege to have your friendship. I love your friendship. I really honor and respect your friendship. That's why you get those phone calls at 7:00 in the morning. I'm like, hey, like, is everything okay? Like, what do you need from me? What do you want from me? And I really respected how you even responded this morning when you made that statement about, you know, I need to process and I need to figure this out before I can communicate what I want or what I need. You know, so right now this is a me thing. You know, second instance today, Andrea came home, went, took a shower. I'm on the phone with her. I'm like, babe, like, and I'm trying to avoid more, is everything okay? That's very bland. But I said it to her, I'm like, is everything okay? And she's like, well, what, like, babe, what do you mean? I'm like, well, like, is there anything you need from me to help you out? You know, and she's like, no, babe, this is a me thing right now. I'm like, okay, cool. You know, but I love that, like, I just think about how young-minded I was so long ago, or where our relationships have evolved from. Like, we couldn't do that before. Like, we couldn't be mad or sad and be in the same room and not think it was about us. You know what I mean? And now it's like, you're mad or sad and it's not about us, it's about you. Cool. Space, needed, wanted, granted. Don't even gotta say nothing. Ace and boom, boom, boom. I loaded Asen up in the car. He was asleep. Wappa, wappa, wappa. You know, took grandma home, dropped her off. He was like, babe, where'd you go? I was like, oh, babe, I was just knocking on the door to see if you knew where my car key was. But you said, I'm going to talk to you when I got the shower. So I knew you wanted some space. But I just really appreciated and respected how you responded to that, because a lot of people won't respond that way. You know, like you said, they'll be in this mode and then they'll just get it all out.
Yeah.
And then an hour later, you're like, damn, it's 9:30, G. Like, I missed my appointment. Like, I got a presentation. Oh my gosh. And we still ain't talked about a solution yet. I just listened. I didn't even recite nothing. Because you ain't figured nothing out. But yeah, I really respected that you said that. And I really resonate too with like the rebuttaling, the active listening, like so many conversations. And I'm doing this a lot in some leadership development that I'm doing right now, removing the feeling of the need to rebut or the need to validate or the need to justify. You don't have to do that. I don't care if it's personal, professional, business, activity, fun, leisure. If you choose not to do something, you can say, I choose not to do this. Yeah. Period, point blank, nothing more. You know what I mean?
Speaking of that, thank you guys for holding down the podcast and allowing me my space to get through everything that I've had to go through the last few weeks. Because I've just been like, Andrew, I'm not going to podcast today. And he's like, okay.
Let's give it up for Dreya.
But like, no, seriously, I've just needed to like take care of my mental space outside of like podcasts. And so I haven't like shut down from everything that I've had to work on, but I've taken some of the things that are on my plate and been like, I'm not doing that today. Yeah. I'm not doing that today. And the podcast was one of them. I just wasn't in the mental space to be able to be here. So thank you guys for allowing me to be myself and take the time I need to get through whatever I get through. I love you guys too so much. Yeah, girl. So thank you. I missed y'all though.
I missed you too.
Yeah.
I see this one every day.
Yeah. And I've been cleaning 2 days in a row. So yeah, and I don't want to talk about when you were talking about the rebuttals and the tit for tat and the listening, the active listening. Yeah. And like I said, in the leadership development I'm doing, I had somebody come to me and was just asking for some advice, but she had already responded to a business professional that was trying to do business with her, and she gave this reason, that reason, this reason, that reason, this reason, this reason, this reason, this date, that date, this date, that date, and I was like, hey, at the end of the day, you didn't owe that person anything. I'm so proud of you for doing it and asserting yourself and being firm. But just think about the amount of time, the amount of energy, the amount of space you had to create to go through that. Like, walk me through what that looked like. And she conversed with me about, I talked to this person about it. I talked to this person about it. I'm kind of a people pleaser, so I also ran it past this person. And then I made sure all the dates were accurate. I made sure I'm like, that probably took you like 90 minutes, when you could have just said, hey, I never signed a contract. I'm sorry. We're not doing it. Yeah. Point, period, blank. Maybe next time, Junior. You know what I mean? Right. Love you. Keep it moving. But it's interesting to be like, when you observe, even when you observe people's interactions and you see those rebuttals, it's to me, it's intriguing just to know, like, I don't know where we would be, you and me right now, or all of us. I don't know where we would be if we were in that state of mind where we were always rebutting and not being open-minded about somebody's perspective, and I just think, like, sometimes I'm just like, when someone's giving me information and I'm not understanding it, instead of rebutting, I'm just not receiving the information that you're delivering to me. Can you explain it, or can you add on more to it? Yeah, can you give me some more details? I don't think. And then it's just like, and then when you get there, or you think you get there, like, okay, so just so I understand correctly, is this what you're asking, or is this what you're in need of? Do you want some conversation too? Is that what you need? Yeah, I know. Oh, thank you, baby, for the kisses. So for those of you who don't know, Asen misses his daddy a lot.
I was just telling him that after our trip to Chicago, Asen just found this new love. Like, he loves you, but now you're like his most favorite person in the whole wide world after Chicago.
Yeah, it's not overwhelming at all. being a full-time father. Yeah. But yeah, that rebuttal, it's interesting, because in sales, we know it. Mm-hmm. We train. Got an answer for everything. Yeah, we train people to rebuttal.
We do, and we say, you know what? in being in sales, we are trained to literally violate every boundary that everybody says.
Yeah.
We have like a very like what do I want to say, like disjointed type of reality, because it's like it's inside of us to like step on every boundary.
Yeah.
But then also we're also living on this plane of like, we respect what your needs are and your wants and this and that and the other. But it's in there that you know what I mean? Get 3 no's.
You're so funny.
Do not stop. Get 3 no's. And if you can't get them to say the right, just get them to commit.
Yeah.
Get a commitment. Trick them.
Corporate America, I'll tell you what. I will say now, I think, okay, so on some real stuff, you can probably, I don't want to project, but I think you'll resonate with this. Like, so we come from that corporate America, sales,
corporate
rebuttals.
America and telemarketing.
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
Andrew
All of
used
us.
to call me from, what was that? Hello.
Fraternal order of police.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
He used to be calling me on the phone while he was doing his job. Like, hold on, Keena, 1 second. Hello. Do you want to donate? No.
35 or 25? Which one's best for you? Okay, so this is what I say, you guys. So in sales, in corporate America, we're taught to violate boundaries, disrespect yeses and nos. Yeah. You know what I mean? We're conditioned to condition people to manipulate their realities to what anything the salesperson wants you to buy, you buy.
You feel like a little tight.
Features, advantage, benefits.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Let's see it.
I used to eat, sleep, and drink this.
Yeah. Tell me your story, and here goes my fab. You know.
Yeah.
But I think now with the lifestyle that we've lived, and you've been an entrepreneur for what, 5 years now, 6 years?
Technically longer, because I started my first business in 2015.
Yeah.
14, 15.
So 7 years.
Mm-hmm.
I'm 2.5 going on 3. Okay. It's interesting because now I feel like the lifestyle we live, because we focus so much on our mental health and our wellness in general. I mean, physical wellness, you a little bit more than me, but it's not about more or less or better.
Right, there's no hierarchy.
Yeah, no hierarchy here, but you know what I'm saying? Keena, bad one. Like, so is Andrea.
Drew and Dreya are too.
You're so funny.
Birds of a feather, you know what I'm saying?
Flock together.
You look around the room, you got 2 baddies in the room, the third one gonna be a what?
You're so funny. So where I'm getting with this is I feel like everything that I've accomplished over the last 3 years has been like so pure, so like humble, so honest. I'm literally just fulfilled in the way I carry myself, and with my family, with my friends, with my team members, with my leaders, with my investors, with the people that I coach, that like people see the value when I walk in a room, like when I open my mouth and I connect with somebody. From the time I meet somebody, I'm like, hey, how are you? Like, what's your name? Like, oh, I'm so-and-so. How do you like to be greeted? Like, what? Yeah, do you want a high five, handshake, elbow, hug, non-physical? What do you like? What do you prefer to be called? Because people will tell you their name, but then they won't tell you their nickname unless you ask them. And some people be like, oh, I don't have a preference. No, you have a preference. I want to respect your boundaries. Like, what do you prefer? Everyone has a preference. But it's just been very fulfilling to just be who you are, and people gravitate towards that. People want to partner with you, or people want to do things that you're doing, or they want you to help them out in doing what they're doing because you've done it, or people have done it. That's just like, it's so different. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. And now it's like, hey, you see the value. Remember we talked about that podcast I listened to, convincing versus persuading. We don't have to convince anybody anymore. The persuasion is, hey, this is what we got. Yeah. You gonna take it or not? And if not, okay. That's okay.
Everything ain't for everybody.
Your space is your space. My space is my space. Yeah. No pun intended on my space. I don't know where my space at right now.
MySpace.
For you millennials, I don't know if y'all know about MySpace, but disease. But it's interesting, just the different elements now.
The evolution, the way that we have evolved through time. We're really good at sales for those reasons. And then now we live these lives where it's like, no selling needed. No selling needed. Like, good work speaks for itself.
NSN.
Well, good.
You know what I mean? Good, bad breakthrough.
Yeah.
Like,
Wait, what'd you say? NSN?
NSN.
What's that?
No selling needed.
Oh, okay.
I love that.
And
No
last
sales
week you
needed.
had PSD. What was PSD?
Paid space days.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's what he said last week. I
That's
do want to
it.
say one last thing about the holding space.
Yeah.
One thing I want to say is that you don't have to hold space either. It's a choice.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to say that because, like, of course, like being people who are compassionate and loving, wanting to love and unconditionally love and accept people, having unconditional love and acceptance is not the same thing as having unconditional or unlimited access. Okay.
Can you repeat that one more time?
So having unconditional love or unconditional acceptance for somebody is not the same thing as providing or allowing unconditional access. You know,
And it's unlimited access.
or unlimited
unlimited
access. Yeah.
Yeah.
They don't. That doesn't mean that they are entitled to unlimited or unconditional
love
access.
that.
So you can love somebody unconditionally and then also have boundaries.
Yeah.
You can love somebody out unconditionally and also have standards.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or requirements in order to gain access or proximity to your space or your energy or your time or any of those type of things. You know what I mean? And also, just because you can hold space, if you don't want to, you also don't have to, right? But then you assert that and you express that, and maybe you say, not right now, but maybe at 4:00, or just, you know what, I just don't want to hold space for you.
Yeah.
Or you just be like, you know what, no. And that's okay. And then that person gets to decide also then if they want to continue to be friends or whatever, have a relationship with you, right? Everybody should be able to choose. They can choose whether or not they feel safe asking you to hold space for them. You should be able to choose whether or not you want to hold space. And then they should be able to choose whether or not they accept your willing or unwillingness, right? There is consent along every step of the way in order for it to be mutually beneficial and mutually empowering, mutually agreed. You know what I mean? So that nobody feels like I'm doing too much giving and I don't want to. Then there's that reluctance that comes in, or that resentment, or that dread, you know? So just, you know, be mindful, like you don't have to say yes to everything. And there is a chance, if you say no, they might not want to engage with you, and that's also okay too.
We live, get a good bad breakthrough. Episode 13? 13. I'm gonna do my Keena. You can find us on all platforms. We got Apple Music, iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram,
and whatever your other favorite streaming.
You know what I'm saying? And now just to clarify, it is the good, bad, and breakthrough.
So,
or do we know?
We gotta figure that out. You know, I think it mostly on most of them says good, bad, breakthrough. Yeah. Because see, my thing is I just want to make less words.
Yeah.
That's why.
I think good, bad, breakthrough. Yeah.
So if you see it in any of those places differently, it's still the same thing. Like I see on sometimes every now and then it still shows up on Spotify as TV podcast. I don't know why it does that sometimes. But I think the technology just takes time. But I've been doing good, bad, breakthrough, and that's it.